Well, hello there. This is Nicola Liberty with Cowgirls and Spurs. How are you today? Happy Tuesday. I'm back. Back from vacation, back from being sick. I'm back. Now I'm wishing I would have grabbed one of my throat lozenges because I've got a tickly throat and I have nothing to drink. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. Okay. Come on in and say hi. I'm going to be doing some fun fall crafting today. I don't know why. I'm just in a whimsical mood and I want a little whimsy in my life. So we're going to be working with some stuff. So we just got back from a road trip. And of course, everybody was pigging out on Pringles the whole time we were on the road trip. Come in and say hi, let me know you're here. So I thought, well, I can do something with that. Let's figure it out. So I'm going to recycle a Pringles can. You can recycle any kind of a tube can or a tube that you want to do this project. It's just a fun, kid-friendly project. You can do this with your grandkids. You can do this with your children. You can do this just because it's fun. Hey, darling. Hi, Stephanie. How are you? Okay. So I'm going to be using my Pringles can. I'm going to get organized here in my head. I just did one. It came out so dang cute. We're going to do another one. So I'm going to use, for this project, I think I want to use the burlap. But if you don't have burlap on hand, I like to repurpose linen napkins. So oftentimes when you're going out junking and I'm upcycling and I'm doing my thrift stores and all that kind of stuff, you can find linen napkins. And oftentimes they don't have a full set, or they do have a full set and you can craft with it. I love crafting with linen napkins. They tear beautifully, they stain beautifully, they paint beautifully. And you know, it's just another clever way to kind of get a nice little square that you can do projects with. So I have one that I have already torn to fit my Pringles can. Hi, Kathy. So I'm just going to kind of be winging the Pringles can. And I did one already, and I'll show you my finished product on that one when I finish the Pringles can. So I have my hot glue gun. I have my white Valspar paint. I have my black Valspar paint. And I also have a mango color. It's just an orange. Any orange will do. I actually have two variations. I have a Valspar variation. Hey, Linda, how are you? And I have this one because I'm just not sure which color will look better for this particular project. So I also have some fall picks. I always like to collect these because, you know, you can add them into just about anything. I have that version. I have the berries. For some reason, the Dollar Tree is really stepping up their game, I'm telling you. And then these little cute burlap ones, I might use those in this project as well. And then I have 3 ribbons that I'm going to be using from my Farm Girl collection and my ribbon collections. I'm going to be using the bandana version. I'm going to be using the buffalo check in navy blue. Hi, Lois. How are you? I know I haven't been here in a while. At first I got sick, and then I went on vacation with my family, and I'm back now. And then I'm going to use the grungy overall as well. So those are the 3 ribbons that I chose for this project. And then I have a couple other things that I'm going to be putting together. Of course, I have turkey feathers. Because you guys know I'm obsessed with my domestic and wild turkeys. So I have a bag of turkey feathers that we're going to be using for this project as well. And then I have a variety of rope that I have purchased and just kind of collected. These are from the Dollar Tree. They have really great selections of rope for all kinds of projects. This one is something I'm going to be working on. And then this one I found at Lowe's because this one's hard to work with. You sometimes need to wear gloves because I've gotten splinters from this. I'm trying to think of, they call it choir rope. It's like a real rustic jute rope, but it's kind of, you get a little splintery from this, but it's nice and rustic projects. And then I have a couple things to embellish our project with. I have this cute little faux succulent plant. You can find these on my website at cowgirlsandspurs.com. They come in this trio like this, and I like to separate them sometimes and create projects with them because they're just inexpensive and they're super cute. Or you can obviously decorate your home with a cute little trio. Comes in this metal basket. I'm just going to use one today. And then I have a cute little acorn pick. Thank you for sprinkling. I love it. And if you wouldn't mind, just share the blessings with your friends so that we can, you know, love on each other and just kind of be positive in our crafting. So every time I mention the big J, I get put in Facebook jail. So for some reason, I'm not allowed to profess my faith. So we're just going to craft and honor him in our crafting. Okay? So I'm not sure what's going on there, but you know, I got back from Disneyland and found out that the whole time I was in Disneyland, apparently I was on restriction for mentioning, you know. So here we go. We're not going to let that stop us because he's gonna bless us regardless. Okay, let me get started. Let me get organized. I'm just going to kind of put my stuff aside so we can see how I'm going to get going on this. Now, you'll probably figure out what I'm doing as I get going, but I'm just going to go ahead and just get going. Oh, I also have my Minwax wood penetrating stain. This is, what color is this? Semi-transparent, early Americana. It's premium oil finish. Now, I like to stain my fabrics using this. A lot of people go, what? You're using wood stain on fabrics? Yes, I am using love the glasses, such an authoritative look. Well, I wouldn't be able to see you without them, so thank you. I'm very sophisticated today. So we're going to be staining some fabric with our wood stain. So just kind of roll with me. Let's see where we go with this. All right, so first of all, I'm going to take my can. I'm leaving my plastic lid on. Okay, we're just going to leave the lid on. And I'm going to roll my burlap so that it kind of overlaps a little bit. I want to see where my seam's going to be. And you want it to be loose, okay? So when you're rolling this and you're figuring it out, make it a little bigger than you would normally because we want it to sag. We're going to do a little sagging on this, okay? Hey, Lisa, how are you? Thank you. This is my girlfriend bought this for Goat Hill Fair. It's a craft fair that happened in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Hi, Donna. And I don't think they're doing it anymore because everybody loves my apron, and I've tried to find this apron for you so that I can get it to you because everybody's just been commenting on how cute it is. I have goats. I love my goats. And this apron was just perfect for me because of my girlfriend knows how much I love my goats. And so I just trimmed it real quick, and I haven't been able to find it anywhere. Nowhere. So I'm guessing they didn't do it. I even drove by where they have it and I haven't seen it. So I'm going to try and see if I can replicate this at some point, but you know, I've got my hands full. I'm starting high school again this year for the 4th time. So I'm really trying to keep my brain steady. Since I got sick, I've had to cut out coffee, so you're going to have a lot less Hyper Nicole in the future, which is so sad. Because coffee is my thing. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do with my Pringles can is along the bottom, I'm going to put a little bit of a bead going all the way around. This is a high temp glue gun, so it gets really drippy. So if you're using a high temp, just go slow, allow it to kind of cool a little bit. You don't want it dripping everywhere. Some projects are really cool to have it drip. This is not one of them. And so what I'm going to do is go along my edge here, and I'm going to grab my fabric and roll it. Just making sure that my end wraps around and covers and overlaps. So let me just kind of show you, let me get this glued, and then I'll show you how I'm doing this. And I'm only going around the bottom for right now. Okay, so look how I did that. All I did, the can is still open here because we want a solid base, okay? And all I did was overlap it right here. So that's gonna be the bottom part that grabs, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna seal, right here I'm gonna go ahead and seal my layer so that it overlaps and covers up, completely covers my Pringles can. Just gonna do a little strip. Nothing crazy because I don't want it to bleed through too much. I don't want it to stick to my can or my fingers because that hurts. Okay, so I just created a seam, just a nice seam, and it's not sticking to my can. You can see how it's moving. Okay, I am finally doing good, you guys. That was it was pretty scary for me. I've had to change my diet. I've had to change my stress levels. I've had to change everything. So I kind of am reinventing myself, which is a bit of an uncomfortable space because I was pretty invented. So, you know, it's pretty terrifying though. It's not the first time it's happened, but since I hit menopause, it's been happening more frequently. And then for those of you who don't know, I thought I had diffuse esophageal spasms, but now I'm realizing I have jackhammer esophageal spasms. It's a very rare condition, apparently, and you know, yay, I got it. So it's a very painful process, very painful. That's what I can tell you. Okay, so there's where we have right there. We have a little sack, okay? Now, what I would like you to do is kind of bring your sack down a little bit and create some wrinkles, okay? Are you seeing how I'm doing that? I'm just pushing my burlap down a little bit, and I'm gonna finish my seam off as I'm pushing it down. But I'm gonna hold it in place because I want these folds. I want these wrinkles rather. And so now what I'm gonna do is add a little bit more glue so that it'll bleed through a little bit. I'm going on my can as well, and I wanna go ahead and secure it to my tube. Because I have my wrinkles in, now I can kind of have the glue penetrate just a little bit more onto the can. Careful, because it is hot. And just seal your gap, okay? Just kind of get this dry. Sealing in my gap and pressing down, because I want it to stick to my can so it holds my wrinkles. That makes sense. Okay, can you see that? How I've got my wrinkles and I've just got this cute little seam here. Now touch it up. Come back in with your glue and just kind of make sure your seal is nice and secured. And what I'm doing is just kind of sticking my tip in here where it's open and applying it a little bit more thick and then pressing it into the can. And then what that will do is hold my wrinkles in place. Okay? Hi, Patsy. How are you? I am feeling so much better. Okay, so you look at those wonderful little wrinkles that you've got there. Okay? Now, gently just kind of finish off your seal. I do definitely want to have my seal finished off. So I'm just going to kind of come in here and gently and lightly finish off the opening so that I have pretty much a tube all the way up. Just be careful with your fingers. I should have put my fingertips on, but I didn't think about it until after I burnt myself for the first time. Okay? And so there you go. You have a little bit of a tube. Now, what I like to do is finish off my top area before I get going on the painting part of our project. So right now what we have is this cute little tube. Your seal's gonna be your backside. And so can you see how I wrinkled it really nicely right here, but I kind of kept it not wrinkled right here? All right, so I'm gonna be able to scrunch after I finish painting, but I'm not going to do it until I finish painting, okay? So that's what we have so far. All right, so let's go ahead and do our painting. So I'm gonna bring in my, I said I wanted to do the top part, but I changed my mind because that's what I do. I change my mind a lot. So we're gonna paint. Okay, so I'm gonna break out my black paint first. And in this regard, it's gonna be really important what kind of paintbrush that you choose, because you wanna get a fine, detailed tip. Where's my paper towel? All right, so I'm gonna bring in my pea pads, my puppy crafting pads. We're just gonna call them crafting pads. And I'm gonna go ahead and bring a little bit of paint onto my pad, just like this. I'm just gonna dip my brush in. Don't toss your brush everywhere like I just did. And then I can put my can away. It's really warm in here and I don't want my paint to get hard. All right, so I'm gonna teach you how to paint some eyes, okay? Hello, darling Diane. How are you, darling? Okay, so we're just gonna do an oval. Burlap paints really well. Okay, so we're gonna do a nice little oval. Continuing to pull in your paint. going to show you, as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to show you how nicely paint goes over the top of burlap. So there's one oval, just like that, okay? Now we're going to come to the side and try and get your ovals to be somewhat the same kind of consistency as far as size and width, because you don't want them to look super weird, but you know, you like a little whimsy, so some character is nice. And I'm just continuing to go over my burlap until the black is a nice coverage. Okay? So just like that. They're not perfectly the same, but they're close enough to where it's going to work out and look adorable. Okay? So there you go. Two little eyes. All right, let me get a little bit more paint. One of the reasons why I like to bring the paint over to my pad here is because I can twist. Let me just kind of show you here. So when you're doing your paintbrush and you're globbing it on, okay, so you just see that glob right there? That's not what you want. What you want to do is kind of spin your brush so that you have an ample amount of paint on there, but you still keep the fine tip. It's terribly smoky here. Today is a little bit better. One of the reasons why I didn't come to see you guys live yesterday is because we had 105 temperatures. My craft room doesn't handle 105 temperatures. Even when I get all of the air conditioners going in the fan, everything melts. So if it's 100 triple digits, I can't come to see you. What's under the burlap, girlfriend? It's a Pringles can. You got to eat your Pringles chips in order to do this project. Okay, so this is the fun part. So I have I've spun my brush. I have ample amount of paint, but I'm keeping the consistency of my brush. Now, just have fun with this one. You want it to be a smiley face, but you don't want it to be a perfect smiley face. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start him here, okay, and I'm just going to kind of overlap my line so that I fill in the gaps. Can you see that so far? And I'm going to create a nice little fun smiley face going over my brush stroke. Just take it slow. If you don't have a steady hand, it's okay. It's totally okay. This is imperfect crafting. We craft for joy, not for perfection, is what I want to say. Okay? So check him out. Isn't he cute? We're getting there. Okay, I just stuck my finger in the paint. So now I'm going to create stitch lines. Just like that. We're going to create some stitch lines. Stitch line. Okay. I'm just going to keep on making a couple stitches here and there until I feel like he's got enough. Now you don't want to go too crazy. You just want to keep it kind of simple. Okay, just like that. Okay, we're done with our black. So we can go ahead and put black away. Clean your brush. I think I need a new paper towel. I'm going to clean your brush, making sure you've got all the residue of paint off. And now we're going to bring in our orange, because I need the that one's a little still wet. I'm going to see what color this one is and if I want to switch it over to this one. We want the paint to dry. Okay. And that's how we do it. I love it. Okay. Oh, this is a nice orange color. Okay. So I'm going to bring it over, and I think I'm going to see how it works out. I might change it over to the papaya one. Can you hear the train? I have a train about half a mile away, and you can hear it as if it's in my backyard. Okay, so look at how I left some space where the eyes are from the smiled zone. We're going to come right in here, and we're going to give him a nose. So all I'm doing is painting a triangle right over the top of where I want his nose to be. And I'm making sure that it's got a really nice amount of pigment. Now, for those of you that follow me, you know I love primitive stuff. Anything rustic and primitive, it's really in my wheelhouse. And so I want him to look super, super primitive. And the primitive look of a face like this has a very elongated nose. So I am going to give him an elongated nose. Just like that. A little bit more. Okay. And there is his cute little nose. So keep filling it in until you have the brightness and the pop that you'd like. Okay. And that's about it. I love him. So far, I just adore him. Okay. Let me see where my heat tool is. I don't know if I have my heat tool handy. Sorry, guys. There it is. Are we plugged in? Oh, we're already plugged in. Fancy that. You go away for 2 weeks, you come back and it's just like everything's new. Hi, Marge. Okay, so I just want to gently kind of dry the paint because I want the black to absorb the next color that I'm going to do. We will be coming back in with the black, but not until we're done because I want to make sure that the expressions that I give him are going to be authentic. And I don't want to give him the expressions until I know exactly how I want him to look. That makes sense. Okay, now I'm coming in with my white. And I'm going to use a fine-tuned brush. Let me show you the brush I'm going to use. Look how fine that tip is. Can you see that? Let me see if I can kind of do it in the against the wood right there. How about that? See, it's very, very tiny. Okay? And so let me show you how I'm going to do this. And I'm going to try and do this on camera so that you can see exactly how I'm going to do it. So the first step I'm going to do is kind of come in a little bit and I'm going to create an arch. Okay, just like this. Using very gentle strokes, I just want this little arch. Can you see that? Okay. I know that a lot of people are not confident painting, but I want to just kind of show you how easy it is. So start with that little arch right there. Okay. And now what you're going to do is create inside the black area an outline. Okay. Can you see that? I didn't go to the edge of the black. I stayed within the center. And now I'm just going to fill it in. Pulling a little bit of white, like a crayon, I'm just going to color it in. I've always been one of those when I color, as I always outline the dark and then I do the shadowing on the inside so that we can create this cute little eyeball. You see that? You're welcome, Brenda. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat the process on the other side. Just coloring it in and filling in the gap and giving him some expression. Just like that. How cute is he already? He's so cute. Okay, now let's bring in some accent a little bit. So I'm going to come in on my nose, just like this. Do a little line here. And maybe one kind of down here, just to give them a little bit more detail. Okay, now we're done with the white. So let's put the white back. Okay, I'm bringing back my black because now that I can kind of see his expression, I can tell how I want to have his eyebrows because the guy needs eyebrows. And we're making a boy on this one. So I'm bringing in my larger fine tip paintbrush. Let's see if you can, I'm trying to get it where you can see it right there, maybe in the accent color in the back. You don't need a lot. Make sure you spin your brush so that you create this fine tip. And now I'm going to give him some eyebrows. Look like that. Spin your brush, making sure you get a nice fine tip, and then just come in and just do a little arch for his eyebrows. And he's got a cute little expression. So he went kind of from spooky to cutesy. Float the hearts and on and on. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to give him some stitches here and there. Just going to kind of create some stitches. Just kind of coming through his face. And maybe a little bit of an eyelash. Just the one. And over here I gave him a little eyelash. And there's our face. What do you think? Isn't he cute? All right. So let's dry him. We're done painting for now. Let me dry him a little bit. Let me get my paint colors out of the way so that I don't make a bit of a mess. We'll come back with our stain in just a minute. Let's fix our guy so that he's nice and cute. All right. So now what I would like to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my fabric scissors while he's drying. I don't need to heat gun him right now because I'm going to be working for a while. And I'm going to take this top tube part and start to strip it down close. I want to say it's about 1 inch from the top of my seal. Okay, so all I did was create a split there. And now I'm going to continue this. Same thing, going around, creating these little shreds. Okay. You don't want to get too close. Okay. So that is basically what I just created like this. Okay. All right. So take a dollop of glue and attach it to your lid. Now don't go too crazy because you don't want to melt your lid. I'm going to take my little pot and I'm going to stick it right to the top. Okay? And as soon as that's dry, I feel like I can move it around a little bit. Okay? So that's where we're at so far. Okay. Okay. Let's get embellishments going. Now, if you wanted to give him a little top hat where the rope is concerned, this is where I had my rope. Now, you can go ahead. I don't know that I want to give him a hat because everybody's doing kind of a hat on a scarecrow like this. So I don't think I want to give him a hat. I want to make it a little bit different. But you can definitely start taking your glue gun, because if you look inside my lid here, you can see the lid's right there where the ridge of my plant is. There's plenty of base here where you can start taking your rope and gluing it in a spiral like this until you had enough of a hat to where he had a little bit of a hat. I'm not going to do that because I like to step outside the box and do things a little bit differently. So what I'm going to do is I have my 3 ribbons here. I have my grunge jean, I have my my blue buffalo check, and I have my bandana. So I'm going to use for now the jean material. Okay, just like this. See how much I need. And I'm going to wrap him and tie him off where his face is going to go. So I think I'm going to need probably, let me get my tape, my yardstick here so I can give you measurements. Don't you just love how I throw everything on the ground and then pick it up? Because I don't have enough table space. I have so many supplies. I'm going to start with 20 inches. Okay, I'm pulling off one of my little ribbon shreds. Let me lay him down real quick so I can do this properly. And I'm going to tie him. Did I come undone? I think my little guy came undone. Let me see if I can secure him a little better. I wish I wasn't using hot glue. This is one of those circumstances where your temperature matters. Okay, come on up here, little guy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and tie a knot. I'm gonna do it gingerly because my glue is gonna need to be drying still. And I'm just gonna work underneath my little flaps and tie a little knot. And that's going to secure your little pot as well, because we're going to embellish the pot a little bit more. Okay. So you see him so far, how he's got a little flop in action happening there. E6000 glue would have been better. Yep, absolutely. It's a Pringles can. All right. The only problem with the E6000 glue is it just doesn't dry fast enough for me to be doing lives. So if you wanted to use, I think a floppy hat would have been so cute. You know what? I did do a hat. If you like a hat, do a hat. I just wanted to do something a little bit different. Okay, so there's where he is now. And so I'm secured. All right. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of my my bandana. I'm going to do the same 20 inches on this one as well. Okay, and I'm going to cut him. And then I'm going to strip it right down the center. So all I did was a slit down the center, and I'm just going to pull it. And then I'm going to take it underneath and I'm going to wrap it as well, creating a little bit of my accent on his top part. He's wearing a bandana around his head. Keep the sweat out of his eyes. Okay, and I'm going to take the center one and knot it. I don't know if you can see that real well. So I'm going to take the center one and I'm going to knot it. Okay. So just like that so far. We've got our cute little guy. Okay. All right. So now what I want you to do, or what I'm going to do, is I'm going to take a little dollop of glue and I'm going to press my burlap onto the pot. So that now I'm covering up my pot. Okay, I'll show you in just a quick second. I'm going to need another glue stick. Okay, so all I'm doing is extending it up so that it will cover over the pot. And then we're going to trim these. But right now I'm not trimming them. Okay, and I'm just going to go all the way around and secure this. So get another glue stick and follow him all the way around. This will also work to secure your pot into place as well, having the burlap sticking to the pot. Okay, and I have one more. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and trim these. I'm doing it at a diagonal, just so it has a little whimsy and texture to it. Okay, because then when it flaps over a little bit, it's got just a little bit of style and pizzazz. So he's looking kind of like a little carrot top, and I love it. Okay, let's embellish him a little bit. Let me trim this guy just a little bit more. So just work with it, and you know, as you go and you want to trim a little bit, go ahead and start trimming. Okay, so I have this cute little acorn embellishment. I'm going to put that in there. I'm just going to start building him up a little bit with my glue. Kind of sticking my acorn in there. Okay, so there's my little acorn. It's getting there. And then I have some fun wood beads that I salvaged off of a project that I found at a secondhand store. I'm going to add a couple wood beads in there. And I'm just going to start building it up. Putting some whimsy on him. A pumpkin. Let's see if I can get a cute little, I've got these wonderful little embellishments here. I have these little berries from the dollar store. And I'm just going to start giving him a little bit of a front end decor. And this is where you can kind of go crazy. Just go crazy and have fun with it. We're making a cute little decor. You want to make sure you're having a blast. Okay. Now, as soon as I kind of get to where I like him, I'm going to start making sure that my ribbons are glued and tacked in place. I want him to flow, but I don't want him to be in his face blocking his cute little expression. Does that make sense? So this is where I tack my ribbons down a little bit, and I'll show you in just a quick second once I get them tacked. Okay, so now I'm starting to kind of add a little whimsy. Okay, now down below, I want to give him a little something something on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is line his front end, or the bottom half of my Pringles can, with more of my red bandana ribbon from the Farm Girl collection. Okay, and so I'm going to give him a little bit of a collar and gently wrap my ribbon around. And I'm gluing as I go. And since this glue is on hot, I've got plenty of time to do a nice clean wrap before I have to cut, because it's like molten lava. Okay? And then I'm just going to trim, making sure my fabric overlaps. Just like that. Okay? So far, that's where we're at. Bandana neck scarf. That's right. He's a farmer. Okay? Not done yet. All right. So we're going to bring in our blue check. Unwrap it a little bit, and I'm only going to use a short little bit. I'm going to say, let's go with, because I dropped my thing, I'm just going to eyeball maybe about 10 inches, not even quite, and then I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, cut my loop, and I'm going to tie it in a knot. Just like that. So I created a little bit of a knot bow tie. Cute. Just like that. And when you like the side of your knot, you can bring him in like this and tie him. Add a little glue. Put your little bow tie on there. Until he sticks. Isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. I think he's super whimsy. Okay, but we're not done yet. I have to antique him, because I wouldn't be me if I didn't antique him. Okay. Let's go ahead and trim this guy. Let's see about this one here. Let's trim him a little bit. I feel like I want a little more whimsy. Let's strip these a little bit more. To shred a little bit. Careful when you're pulling them apart if you choose to pull them apart a little bit. I just wanted a little bit of a shred on there. Okay, so he's got just a little bit more going. Oops, there he is. A little bit more going on. Okay. Now, in order to make him a little bit more rustic, I am going to bring in my stain. I'm going to grab a paper towel. Where did my paper towel go? Okay, now I like to shake my stain up, and if you leave your lids loose, do it in a circle motion. Raining really hard right now in South Carolina, bad thunder, about to lose our power. Oh no! My goodness, talk about extremes. I'm in triple digit heat and you're having rainstorms. Okay, so take your paper towel and just go on your lid, okay? What you want to do is just get a little bit on here. Make sure you put your lid back on so you don't accidentally knock it across the room and make a mess, which is something I would totally do. And now I'm just going to kind of come in here and I'm just going to rub him a little bit with my stain. grunge them out just a little bit, adding a little bit more stain onto your towel. Can you kind of see the grunging? Just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna go all the way around, making sure that his wrinkles are standing out. Got a little bit of grunge going on my fabrics, on his bow tie, across all his wrinkles. I'm going into my ribbons, kind of up on the top portion. I'm antiquing the pumpkin a little bit, just dabbing all the way around. Okay, you can even antique your foliage up here. And then there he is. My little grungy rustic scarecrow carrot top. What is the name of the stain? It is Minwax. It's an oil base, just an oil based wood stain. That's all I'm using today. I really love it. Now, let me show you his girlfriend. So I made her using the linen napkin. So there's your variation. The nose disappears? Not so much. What do you think? I love them. They're adorable. His and hers. This one was made out of a wasabi pecan with the lid. You can use any kind of can, a soup can. You can use just any kind of tube. You can use a piece of wood. She's got lips. I made little lips for her. And there's her buddy. So there's something just cute and whimsical to make with your kids or do it for your, I love them both too. How adorable. I will post pictures and I'll get this video on my website. I'm lagging on getting things on my website only because I'm a one-man show and this was a really rough couple weeks. So show me some grace and I'll get everything going super, super soon. All right, I love you all and I'll see you all tomorrow, okay? Have a great day, you guys. It's great to see you. Bye.